So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. My, what an interesting evening. Let me say this before I get into the meat and potatoes of what I really wanted to talk about. You know, the more and more YouTube expands, evolves, allegedly evolves, the more and more YouTube de-evolves and is a disappointment in so many ways. You mean to tell me a online conglomerate like YouTube cannot figure out a way to stop people from harassing people online and doing some of the things that I've seen people do to people over the course of the years that I've been on YouTube? And I know what some people would say, well, just don't get on YouTube, but that's BS. People should be able to go where they want to go. People should be able to express themselves in a respectful manner. People should be able to disagree and agree to disagree. People should be able to express their own spiritual beliefs as long as they are not trying to harm others physically, emotionally, psychology, or psychologically or spiritually. People should be able to do these things in peace on YouTube and in social media. YouTube is really a flawed institution. It's really a flawed institution. And it has really become the laughing stock, in my mind, the laughing stock of the world. Here you have Congress saying that they want to ban TikTok, but yet TikTok has more security, better, more advanced security measures to prevent people from harassing people, stalking people. Because if you block someone on TikTok, you can no longer see that person's channel and they can no longer see yours. Or rather, they can no longer view your TikTok. And you cannot view their TikTok account either. But yet, Congress wants to ban TikTok over some bureaucracy involving China, and I guess because China is the main backer for TikTok or something like that. I don't know. YouTube, you need to do better. You've had so many tragedies that have taken place over the years on your website. Asia McGowan is one of them. I remember, and I've talked about this before, I remember the person who unalived Asia McGowan, because me and that person we used to go back and forth. We used to go toe to toe. His name was Tony. Me and that big, tall, funny looking, big back psycho used to go toe to toe all the time. And he would, because he would say the most disparaging, disgusting things about black women. And I would challenge him on that. And I would call him out on that. And no one had any idea that he was stalking and planning to do what he did to Asia McGowan. And no one even talks about her anymore. Tony was a problem on YouTube for a very long time. Now, this was back in 2007, 2008. And we did not know that he went to the same college as Asia McGowan, as Asia. We didn't know that until he unalived her and then unalived himself because she would not date him and she would not have anything to do with him because he wasn't her type. He was an ugly person physically, and he was an ugly person mentally as well. And I don't give a fluke who that offends. Yes, I'm talking about the DEAD. Yes, I am. Because just because you are unalive and you're no longer here does not mean that I'm going to change my view of who you were when you were here. He was a horrible person. Just like my step grandfather was a horrible person. And those opinions and views are shaped upon their behavioral patterns, not mine. But when he unalived Asia McGowan, there should have been an immediate aggressive response to that. More um, features that guaranteed the comfort and the peace and the safety and the peace of mind that you can post content. That's why I don't show myself on camera because people are crazy. That's why I don't show myself. It's not that I'm afraid of people judging me or nothing like that. I'm a pretty nice looking guy. I'm not an ugly guy. It's not about that. But people are crazy. I remember back in 2016, I found out it was a crazy white woman, a racist white woman, who was threatening to castrate me as she pretended to be a black woman. You know, black women are under attack. This woman pretended to be a black woman and I exposed her. And then when she found out that I exposed her for being a racist white woman, she came up under troll accounts telling me that she knew where I lived. She had been watching me. She even referenced my body size or whatever because I'm kind of on the chunky side. So I said, maybe this bitch do know where I live at. Maybe she has seen me. Now that was in 2016 and ain't a bitch or nigga stepped to me yet because they know better. Because if any bitch or nigga stepped to me personally, I promise you the story will not end well for them. And that's not a threat. That is a divine promise because I've seen everything but Christ. So I ain't scared of nothing. And I'm not the one that you want to walk up on. Trust me. Because I'm not going to stop until it stops. But YouTube is a very disappointing place. And they allow people, and I've said this before, they allow people to utilize their website for the most nefarious reasons. They do. They allow mentally ill people. Well, they don't really have any control over people who are mentally ill. But if I had my way, you would have to pass a mental illness what do they call it, a competency test or a mental illness test before you can access social media. And I know that sounds very convoluted and really complicated, but in my world, everybody don't need to be on social media. Everybody don't need to be on social media. Asia McGowan was a young woman. She had a promising future from what I understand. She was going to college, and because she didn't want to date this big goon, this big funny looking weirdo, mentally ill individual, because she didn't want to date him, he unalived her and then unalived himself. And Tony had been a problem for a long, long, long time. His videos on YouTube were problematic for a long, long time. He was psychotic. But now, the Tony effect, I'm going to call it the Tony effect, has morphed into an entire different system. Because now the Tony effect has morphed into conspiracy theories. Now, back then on YouTube, there were conspiracy theories, but those conspiracy theories oftentimes were intertwined with truth. But now, conspiracy theory, because Tony was a conspiracy theorist, he was a conspiracy theorist too. Let me just keep that in mind. I may have questions about certain things and I may touch on certain conspiracies, but conspiracy theories now, prior to back in the day, have morphed into and they have gone down a trajectory of complete and utter insanity. And conspiracy theories don't have anything to do with spirituality. Spirituality is about you and your self enlightenment and your self journey in this realm that we call earth and your interpretation of life, death, and what's beyond that, and your own personal experiences. And that's what I do, because I'm the occult view. Occultism is about the hidden knowledge within you, the hidden spiritual esoteric knowledge that's within you. But they've intertwined spirituality with conspiracy theories and conspirators, and it has really muddied the waters. I remember they started out with the whole Alex Jones exposing Bohemian Groove and saying there were rituals being done at Bohemian Groove and all of these different, crazy things that they were saying. And I think that there are elements of truth in some things, but I had an epiphany about something. I had an epiphany. What if conspiracy theories are the distraction? People talk about, and I ran across a video, I saw the title of it. I didn't really look at it, but I saw the title. And usually, if I see the title, I can get the energy that I need to interpret what they're talking about. It's a gift. I saw a video that was titled Hollywood is Sick. And people are right. Hollywood can be a very sick, demented, psychotic, narcissistic place. You hear a lot of horror stories that have been coming out of that have been and that come out of Hollywood. But check this out. And yeah, I snap my fingers. Check this out. How can we sit back and call Hollywood sick when we facilitate a lot of these people in Hollywood? We take up for a lot of these predators in Hollywood. So how can we call Hollywood sick? You got Puff Daddy running around the world, from what I understand, trying to find a plastic surgeon that will change his identity, I guess, so he can come back as someone else. You have Harvey Weinstein getting ready to be probably released from prison. And just think about all the conspiracy theories behind this, how we keep feeding these people, we keep feeding them energy, we keep feeding them money, and then you wonder why you can't even get the things done that you need to get done in your life. What are you feeding your energy to? That's a spiritual question, not a rhetorical one. We've been told that these people are the elites. The government is the elite. They're the elites. We've been told that Hollywood is sick. But if Hollywood is sick, then why does your average person that lives in the average world, why do they expect average people to look, act, and live like people in what they call a sick place called Hollywood, aka Hollywood? If you say that Hollywood is sick, and it's not right, and it's full of perversion, and it's full of debauchery. If you say that, but then, you want people, men and women, to look like and to act like Hollywood people. You want people to live like Hollywood people. You reject people because they don't have the bodies that Hollywood people have. Well, first of all, people in Hollywood are in the movie industry or they're in the music industry. And mainly in the movie industry, for the most part, they want people to look a certain way. And that's fine for the movie industry. But people are always talking about Hollywood is sick. But we facilitate it and we try to copy that same sickness. But you say that Hollywood is sick? People are always talking about Hollywood is having all of these, perverted orgies and, all of this perverted, sexual energy that's going on in Hollywood. But then people in the average world, you're allowing that to trickle down into your personal life and into your personal relationships. For men, you want women to look like Kim Kardashian. You want women to look like this or that. You want women to have the plastic surgery, the perky. You want these expectations on people that you want them to copy from a place that you call sick. So all people are doing is copying sickness. You want people to have a mentality from a sick place. You say Hollywood is sick. If Hollywood is sick, then what are you? God forbid if somebody puts a little bit of weight on them, y'all start calling them obese. And you have to really think about these words. And I was listening to someone else when they were talking about the word beloved. And when I hear the word beloved, a spiritual coworker was talking about this. And they were talking about how beloved to them is a way to put you in a frequency beneath them. And when you think about the word beloved, you have to think about the connotation of it in and of itself sounds like below. It sounds like below, like you're below that person. If you don't know that person, you shouldn't be calling them no beloved. So we have to be careful with these words, obese. What are you calling somebody, an old beast? And they use these words and these spells in particular against Black women a lot. When they call Black women obese, they're really saying you're an old beast. They're trying to put you in a degrading category of not even being a human being. Just listen to the word, the connotation of it, and how it programs the subconscious. Obese. You're an obese. Just listen to that. But this is the Hollywood is the cookie cutter for this. Because Hollywood doesn't like anyone to have weight on them. They want you to be sickly. They want you to be poor. And here's my own conspiracy theory. Do you really think a lot of those people in Hollywood have access to real cash? See, Wendy Williams is not fighting to get cash back. The money that what they're showing us is that she's trying to get her hands on actual cash that's in her bank account. But that's not what's really going on. Because we both know that if you have money in the bank, It's yours. And can't nobody come in and tell you that you can't spend your money. Now that's in the real world. In Hollywood world, they don't give them cash. They give them access. So if they are pleasing the producers, not the producers, but the what do they call them? Oh, I can't think of the word. The studios, if they are pleasing the movie studios and the TV studios, and for example, Viacom or Debmar Mercury, which was the company that Wendy Williams was working for, if they are pleasing these entities, the studios and all of that, if they're pleasing them, then they will have access to stuff. They don't just give them loads and loads of cash. That's what they tell us, the dumbed down public. They don't just give them loads and loads of cash. If they do have loads and loads of cash, they made that, or they come from a family that already has money. But Hollywood don't give them people no damn loads and loads of cash. They give them access. They do give them some money, but they mainly give them access when they are doing what they're supposed to do. But when Hollywood no longer has a use for you, they cut that access off. And that's exactly what they did to Wendy Williams. And she's trying to regain access. She was trying to get access to gain. She must have had some money. Some. I think she had some. She has a guardian because they're afraid of what she's going to talk about. That's why she has a guardian. She doesn't have a guardian because they're trying to, you know, um, control her money. She don't have no money. She don't have any money. They don't let them have money in Hollywood. They give them access. They are in a cashless society. Now that's my conspiracy theory, y'all. That's just my little conspiracy theory. And if I'm proven wrong, then I'm just wrong. They live in a cashless society. They're all Neuralinked. You think Neuralink, that new technology where people are connected, you think that's new? That's not new. Again, that's my own personal opinion. But when you have people who say things like, the world is coming to an end after we had a solar eclipse, the world is coming to an end because we had a 2.8 earthquake that most people didn't even fucking feel. Excuse my language, YouTube. When you keep promoting fear and negativity, and that's what a lot of these conspiracy theories do, and it goes all the way back to 2020 when during the thing, when everything shut down. It goes all the way back to that. There were fearmongers who were telling people you should not get the vaccine because if you get the vaccine, you're going to die. Then you had people telling people that you need to get the vaccine because if you don't get it, you're going to die. But at the end of the day, the truth was somewhere in the middle. You had conspiracy theorists on both parts that were pro and that were anti. And my thing is, they're taking away our choices to choose what we want. And nobody's going to tell me what I should and should not do, whether they agree with it or not. If I'm not hurting you, what business is it of yours what I do? And I'm not talking about nothing, no medicine. I'm talking about just in totality. And that includes what I choose to believe in and what I choose to listen to. But what if the conspiracy theories and the conspirator theories, what if they are nothing but another distraction to keep you locked out of your true purpose of having a spiritual experience while you're here on earth and doing the spiritual work that you're supposed to do. Because let me go back to what I said earlier. Everyone is always talking about the elites. Oh, the elites in Hollywood, the elites behind the scenes, the elites, the elites, the elites. Well, how about this? Fuck all of them. Fuck all of them elites, from the ones at the highest level all the way down to the Jay-Z and Beyonce level. How about this? What if the secret, and again, this is my own conspiracy theory. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying, what if we are the elites and we don't even know it? And we have allowed ourselves to be so distracted by the sickness in Hollywood that we call it, that we have forgotten that we are the real elites because we have access to cash. It don't matter if you got $100 in your bank account. Some of them in Hollywood right now, they don't even have that. Some of them can't even go and buy food. Going back to Wendy Williams, she didn't even have money to buy food. So if she had a guardian, why wouldn't the guardian give her money to buy food and toiletries? If that was true, if that's the true nature of what's going on with her, and she has a guardian, why wouldn't the guardian, if Wendy Williams had all this cash in the bank, why wouldn't they take care of her needs? Because she ain't got no cash in the bank. She was trying to gain access to that world again that they kicked her out of. But they're always talking about the elites, these elusive, mysterious elites, these elite families, these elites. From where I'm sitting, I feel like I'm the elite. I feel like I'm the illuminated one, which is what they call the Illuminati and all that. And the people that we are watching, those are the train wrecks. Those are the lowest parts of society, the ones that we're watching in Hollywood, because they don't have any control over their lives anymore. Somebody else does. Somebody pushes a button and they're gone, because that's what happened to Wendy Williams. You know, one of the best stories of redemption that I really have seen, as far as, and there's many, but one of the best stories of redemption that I've seen is the actress Hudson Like. And for those of you who don't know who Hudson Like is, she's an actress and she's best known for playing the role of Callisto on Xena Warrior Princess. And I was a fan of Xena Warrior Princess. She played Callisto. Hudson Like does not act anymore. She she still reminisces about her time as Callisto on Xena, and she's here on YouTube, and she's taken a total spiritual path. She does she's on a total spiritual path. I believe she's into like the Hindu energy, Buddhism, yoga, and stuff like that. That's what's good for her. I think she has retreats and resorts, not resorts, but retreats for yoga and stuff like that, and meditation. She really transformed her life. And what's so interesting is I was listening to her talk about her life and her time playing Callisto on Xena. And she was saying that she really did not associate with a lot of the actors on the show. She got along better with the people who worked behind the scenes, like the prop people, the costume people, the average people. Because if I'm not mistaken, based upon what she was saying, she comes from a very, I think she comes from a family that's well off. But I think she kind of rejected that. She said she's had the money, she's had the fame, and none of that brought her any type of happiness. She said that. She said she had the house, she had the money, and Hudson Like could have went on to been a major Hollywood star. She definitely has it. Girl got it. She had it and she has it. But she redeemed herself because she said she was so miserable at that time of her life when she played Callisto on Xena. I don't think it was, I don't know about the, I don't know if, well, I don't know if it was the character, but I just think, life circumstances at that time. She was a young woman in her 20s, and she said people thought I had it all together. People always would walk up to me and say, "You're a wonderful person." And she said she would feel sick because inside, that's not how she felt. That's not how she felt. So go and look up Hudson Like. Hudson, Hudson, like, Leick. Go and look her up on YouTube and listen to her story about her leaving acting behind and stuff like that. But the point that I'm making is she came to the realization that she wanted control over her own life. And we're always talking about they're the elites, or those are the elites, or the elites, whether it's in politics, whether it's in the movie industry. But how about this? We are the real elites. We're the ones who are really dictating and, controlling our own destiny. But we've been tricked by these politicians, by these movie stars, by these musicians, and all these other so called high profile people. We've been tricked into giving them our elitism because we think they have all this money because they show us big homes. They show us these fancy, um, what do I want to call it? Not elaborate, but these fancy, extravagant lives that they supposedly live. But is that really the truth, or is that just what they show us? Because I heard that's not all true, and especially in this day and time. Because I heard Hollywood is broke. That's why they keep making all these stupid remakes because they're broke and they ran out of ideas and they ran out of money. Maybe that's why they're letting Harvey Weinstein out because they need somebody to come in and make some money for them. And he knew how to make money and he knew how to make movies, despite the fact that he's a creep. So have we been bamboozled and tricked by these conspiracy theories? Has that distracted us from our real spiritual path? Just think about it. Just really think about that. And are we really the elites? Because I think I'm an elite. I'm the elite. I'm the elite. Because I feel more blessed than the people in Hollywood, or as you all say, Holly Weird. But as you all call it, Holly Weird, you want people in the real world, in the world of where average, down to earth people are. You want us to fashion our lives just like the people in Hollywood. You want people to look like them, you want people to talk like them, and it's crazy. And what's so interesting is, especially with a lot of men, particularly a lot of black men, no shade, no read, you all sit up here and you want women and men too to look like people in Hollywood when most of you look like you from Bollywood. That's corny, but you know what I'm saying. There is no way that Larissa Boots from Flavor of Love. She did an interview on this dude's podcast. I think it was last year, I believe. And this dude was sitting on there talking about he's a high value man. And he was trying to chastise her and trigger her over something that had to do with relationships and her preference for how she runs her life as an adult woman. But she didn't take the bait because what he was trying to do was he was trying to get her to act out, and she did not take the bait. And he referred to himself, well, I'm a high value man. Says who? There is no way that she should have to tolerate, as pretty and beautiful as she is, and she's a self-made young woman. There's no way she should have to put up with listening to some big back ass dude like that who's not attractive, who doesn't take care of his body. They always put all of these standards on other people. How can you tell somebody you got to take care of your body when you don't take care of yours? Make it make sense. He's another Faison Love, judging people. You judging people, but looking the way that you do. And I'm not a superficial person. It's not about looks all the time. I like me a fine man too, child, but it's not about that. But I'm making the point that these types of men, they want everyone to be like the Hollywood cookie cutter when they don't fit that mold themselves. And I don't give a fuck about, well, historically, the man don't have to look good. Who made these rules up? Who made up these rules? Who made up these fucking rules? If you expect a woman to look good, then you should at least be able to bring some of that to the table. How the fuck can you expect a woman to look like Halle Berry and then you expect to come to the table looking like Faison Love? Or that big back nigga that Larissa Boots was talking to on that podcast. Make it make sense. Now, I don't mind, I wouldn't mind, you know, messing around with somebody that looked like Faison Love. What that big back guy on that was on that podcast. It's not about that for me. It's about the mentality. And that's the problem. People choose physicality over mentality. And that's usually a serious problem for a lot of people in the long run. So the point that I'm making is that Hollywood has set up a lot of sick, unrealistic values, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, for people to follow. And your average person is getting caught in these traps. It's causing depression, it's causing oppression, and it's causing a lot of negative energy because you can't live up to those standards because that's not the world you're supposed to be in. You should be comfortable in the world that you're in, and you're supposed to make heaven where you're at. I remember this old Indian saying that heaven could be in a shack with one room because it's all in how you think about it. Now, of course, I'm not saying people should live in a shack with one room. I know how people get things misconstrued and people can't really comprehend, not the people that watch me, but people out there in general. They'll think that I'm trying to say that you're supposed to settle for that. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is life in heaven and hell is what you make it. You can live in a 7 bedroom, 8 bedroom, 9 bedroom house and be living in hell. Trust me, I know people that do. I live here in my 1 bedroom apartment with my friend. I'm happy. I'm content. No, nothing is not perfect. You need balance in the world. You need balance. The world has to have a balance of negativity and positivity. But the problem is, it's too much negativity being flooded into the world right now, and it's caused an imbalance. And little do you all know, the earth and the universe is correcting it. And that is what they're really trying to stop. But that's another story. Heaven is what you make it. And I'm talking about here on earth, not somewhere out there. I'm talking about right here, right now. You have the power to change and make your and manipulate your own reality. You have the power to do that within you. And I know this to be true for a fact. This ain't a conspiracy theory because I do it each and every day. I do it each and every day. And that is why I refuse to be dictated to and by anyone. including celebrities that I may even admire. Because what, you may admire them, but what they do may not be good for you. So going back to that old Indian saying that, heaven can be a shot in the wall. That can be heaven, because that may be where you find the most happiness, where you find the most joy, versus living in an empty, cold 10-bedroom house with you being the only person in there. You know what I'm saying? When my friend comes home, I'm always happy to see him. I'm happy to cook for him. I'm happy to do whatever he asks me to do. Because if that brings him joy, it brings me joy. If it brings him nirvana, it brings me nirvana. Everything is not all about sex. It's not. Sometimes things are just about companionship and understanding each other. I'm talking about for me personally. I'm not talking about for anybody else. Just, as a disclaimer. A lot of those people in Hollywood, they're living in hell. Hollywood is hell. That's the real hell on earth, Hollywood. That's hell. And that is why a lot of people are trying to escape it now. See, a lot of those people in Hollywood, they're now trying to redeem themselves. That's why they're trying to get into, different spiritual practices to find something more. They're trying to find, just another meaning, to life, or more. They're searching for more, because they've done so many horrible, detestable things that we don't even know about. But I can quite imagine. So conspiracy theories and all of this stuff about the elites, and they doing this to us, they doing that to us, whatever, whatever. But how about this? They're not the elites. The elites are us. The elites are us. But you have to know that, and you have to believe it. And not just believe it, but know it. Anyway, this is the occult view. I just thought I would drop this little video because I haven't posted in a while. Not a long video anyway. Um, Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and share the video if you feel the need to. What else did I want to talk about? Hell, I'm even thinking about putting, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. No, I ain't going to do that. But anyway, thank you for watching.